Welcome to my show. I'm Driti Atri, and here are the top 30 news that are making headlines across the globe tonight. So let's start with it. Trump turns private chat into public weapon. A private chat between Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump has exploded into a dramatic crisis. Trump made the message public, breaking an unwritten rule of global diplomacy here. Allies are shocked, trust has taken a hit. This single act signals a new style of power politics. What was once off record is now a weapon. Macron Trump rift over Greenland deepens. Well, the trigger was Greenland. Trump calls it vital for global security. France questions the obsession here. What was meant to stay private has now become public confrontation. This dispute is no longer theoretical, it is kind of reshaping alliances in the real time. Trump threatens 200% tariffs on French wine. Trump's retaliation was economic and symbolic here. A 200% tariff on French wine and champagne. This strikes at France's culture, their jobs, their political power. Europe is also alarmed, by the way. Wine is identity in France, and Trump targeted it very deliberately. Europe sees tariffs as a weapon and not a trade. Paris and Berlin say that this is not about economics. It is about pressure. Allies warn that trade threats are replacing diplomacy under Trump's leadership style. The fear is clear. Once tariffs begin, trust collapses fast. Germany issues open warning to Washington. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, he says that tariffs could badly hurt European biggest economy. Factories, exports and jobs are at risk here. Berlin calls this an alarm moment. Well, Germany rarely speaks this bluntly, right? That alone shows how serious the situation is. Only 200 US troops in Greenland signal. European circles highlight a key fact here. The US military footprint in Greenland is limited. Germany uses this to counter Trump's strong rhetoric with harsh reality. Power, Europe argues, must be backed by facts and not slogans. Denmark draws a public red line. Denmark's foreign minister says that Trump will not get Greenland by threat. Copenhagen rarely speaks this openly. Well, the tone signals that private diplomacy is kind of failing here. For a small ally to speak publicly is a major shift. United Kingdom backs Denmark, slams tariff threats here. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer calls Trump's tariff threats completely wrong. London sides firmly with Europe. Allies are now warning each other in public. The Atlantic Alliance is speaking louder and colder. NATO trust faces Arctic test. Reports say that the US saw detailed military data on Greenland. Denmark is shocked. NATO unity is strained as allies question intention here. Trust once cracked, it is hard to repair inside alliances. Greenland becomes a strategic flashpoint. Melting ice has changed the game now. Arctic routes, rare minerals, missile path make Greenland crucial. Well, big powers are watching the top of the world closely. What was once remote is now central to global rivalry. Iran issues 3-day ultimatum to the protesters. Iran's police chief gives protesters 3 days just to surrender. No talks, no mercy. The deadline has sent fear across the country. Deadlines like this, they are about to control, not to confidence. Tehran claims full control of the streets. Iranian authorities say that the unrest is now over, streets are calm, they claim. But witnesses' account, it tells a very different story. Silence, many fear, is being enforced, not restored. Reports of gunfire and night arrest. Human rights groups report shooting, mass arrests, and bodies in the morgues. In fact, families are allegedly forced into silence. Fear rules the night. The cost of dissent appears to be rising sharply. Internet blackout tightens Iran's grip here. Iran's internet remains largely shut down. Videos are blocked. In fact, messages are failed. When the internet goes dark, evidence disappears. Information control has become the regime's strongest weapon. Forced confessions air on the live television. Bruised faces, shaking voices, Iran's state TV airs confession. Rights groups say that these are all organized and meant to crush the moral here. The goal is deterrence through fear and humiliation. Why the regime is facing the clock, let's talk about that. Key mourning dates and Nowruz are approaching. In Iran, funerals often turn into protest. While the deadline aims to stop the next wave, history tells Tehran that this is the danger window. United States military assets move into region. American aircraft and naval forces are repositioning. Washington says it's precautionary. Tehran sees pressure and preparation. Misreading intentions at a moment like this can be fatal. Iran vows to pursue and punish Trump. Tehran's language has turned personal now. Officials openly link Trump to the past actions like Soleimani's killing. The tone is serious and dangerous. Words like these are rarely accidental in diplomacy. United States C-17 aircraft spotted in the Middle East. Flight tracking data confirms that US military transport planes arriving. These aircrafts carry troops and equipments, not passengers. Moments like this, well, they are very, very dangerous. Carrier drones jet signals readiness here. A US carrier strike group, Triton drones and F-15 jets are active here. This is not a paperwork, of course. This is military positioning. Once assets are in place, escalation risks the rise. Israel signals activation readiness. Israeli officials say that options are ready to be activated. In military language, plans already exist. The region is on the edge. Activation is the last step before the action. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, they launch an air drill. Pakistan's Air Force joins Saudi Arabia for a major exercise. 10 countries are involved. In fact, the timing amid the Iran tension is very important. Exercises like this send messages without any statement. Pakistan deploys F-16s abroad. Pakistan flew F-16 Block 52 jets directly to Saudi Arabia, no stop. Now, this signals long-range deployment capability. Militaries notice this. Capability demonstration are never accidental. Multinational exercise sends silent message. The drill includes the US, the UK, France, Italy, Gulf states. It practices real war scenario. Signals are sent without words. Well, interoperability today, it means readiness tomorrow. Gaza Board of Peace, it sparks drama now. Trump's proposed Gaza Council is stirring controversy here. Public objections hide private coordination. Diplomacy and optics are colliding now. In the Middle East, appearances matter as much as the plan. Netanyahu's public tough talk, private talks, no idea. Well, Israeli Prime Minister opposes any foreign troops publicly. Reports say that details are discussed privately. Politics plays out on two stages. Domestic audience and global partners hear different messages. Trump invites Putin to Gaza Council. Russia receives an invitation to shape Gaza's future here. Moscow is reviewing carefully. This could reshape Middle East diplomacy, adding Russia changes the balance instantly. Indian origin CEO defends H-1B hiring. FedEx CEO Raj Subramaniam faces backlash over visas. He says FedEx is a meritocracy. The US immigration debate heats up. Job, identity, politics are all colliding again. Indian businessman jailed in the US export case. Sanjay Kaushik is sentenced for illegally exporting aviation tech to Russia. The case highlights national security risk here. Washington is sending a zero-tolerance signals. World enters era of public power politics. From leaked messages to public threats, diplomacy has changed. Private is no longer private. Power is now exercised in the open. This is not noise. This is the new global order. And with that, that's a wrap up of our 30 news bulletins from around the globe. That's the world at this hour. You're watching Times XP. I am Driti Atri. Stay alert because history is moving fast.